Hello, fellow grave crawlers, and welcome to ZTV Reviews. I am Paper Zombie, your host with you as always. And on today's episode, I'll be reviewing episodes 6 through 8 for Season 1 of Chucky. These 3 episodes string together very well into our season finale with episode 8. And trust me when I say that we are about to go on a trip. So let's get started with episode 6, Cape Queer. Cape Queer opens in Charleston, South Carolina, where we're about to hook up with the oldest of OG Chucky survivors, Andy Barclay. Alex Vincent returns to portray the role. And for those of you who have no idea who Andy is, he was Chucky's main target for a new body in the first 2 Child's Play films, and a protective protagonist in the 3rd Child's Play film. Andy thought he'd seen the last of Chucky at the end of Child's Play 3, when Chucky was chopped to pieces by an industrial fan. It wouldn't be until decades later that Andy would find out that he was wrong, when Chucky mailed himself to him. After making sure that Chucky got 0 chance to play, Andy became aware of Chucky's continued existence, his ability to create armies, and about then newest target, Nika. Since then, Andy has been tracking, locating, and terminating all of the Chucky copies until they're finally down to the man himself. And this is what we find not just him, but another OG survivor doing in Charleston when they gunned down one of the Chucky copies in front of an unsuspecting little girl and her terrified parents. Say hello to Kyle, reprised by Christina Leese. And she became a part of the OG crew when she met a then 9-year-old Andy when he was placed into the same foster home that she was in. Kyle was in her mid-teens at the time, and didn't believe Andy's warnings once Chucky showed up at the house. But boy, would she find out. A person just ain't the same after surviving a showdown to the death with a voodoo-possessed doll in a huge, operating doll factory with their 9-year-old foster brother. Now that she's all grown up herself, Kyle wants the same thing that Andy does: a final end to Chucky. After making contact with Jake, Andy and Kyle find themselves headed to Hackensack to take out their next target. Meanwhile, Jake and the crew have plenty of troubles of their own to keep them occupied until Andy and Kyle can get to them. Miss Fairchild is arrested in front of the entire biology class by Kim and a few officers as the main suspect for the murders of Oliver, Principal McVeigh, and Detective Peyton. Bree breaks the news about her cancer to Logan and Junior, while Jake overhears from the background. Junior, feeling that lately Lexi has been acting distant towards him and distracted when around him, decides to end their relationship together, with Lexi unable to change his mind. Tiffany, who reveals that she is quite aware of the transitions between Chucky and Nika when it comes to who's in control of Nika's body, also reveals that she has begun to grow an attraction towards Nika, and that she has bought a house in Hackensack for the 2 of them to live in. That house turns out to be the derelict childhood home of Chucky himself. And speaking of Chucky, he puts that new body of his to good use when he hitches a ride with Bree and Junior to Bree's therapy session. While Bree is having a moment of contemplation after her therapy session, Chucky gives her something else to contemplate when he charges at her with a fully loaded file cart and sends it and Bree cascading out of the nearby window. It gives Junior, who's chilling down in the car below listening to his music, this horrible image to live with for the rest of his life. After Bree's death, Jake and the crew know that Chucky's next move will be for one of them. So while Junior and Logan are at the funeral home, Jake, Lexi, and Devin get set up at Logan's house by creating a trigger that will move anytime any entrance downstairs is open. When the trap suddenly moves, everyone knows that the game is on. Chucky does his very best to set the mood for his 3 targets before he makes his move and traps Lexi upstairs in Jake's room. But he doesn't go for the kill. Instead, he tells Lexi that he'll spare her if she'll kill Jake. Jake overhears Chucky trying to talk Lexi into killing him and attempts to sneak into the room and take Chucky out. But a creaky floorboard gives Jake away, causing him to miss his opportunity. Thinking Lexi actually intends to kill Jake, Chucky sicks her on him and gives her a helping hand by slicing Jake on his leg as he flees. But Devin catches Chucky as he runs from the room and tases him so hard that it launches his body clear across the hallway. Unfortunately, the taser has to rebuild its charge before it can be used again, and that gives Chucky enough time to recover and escape downstairs. As our trio prepares to go in pursuit, Kim shows up from out of nowhere and makes her presence known by asking if anyone is home. Before they can answer, Chucky comes leaping out of the nearby closet and attacks Kim. This gives Kim the chance to see that Chucky is very much alive, but the struggle leads to her falling down the nearby stairs and breaking her neck in the process. Chucky laughs maniacally as he flees through the front door of the house, leaving Jake, Lexi, and Devin alone at the house with Kim's body. And it's on this horrible note that episode 6 comes to an end. Episode 7, Twice the Grieving, Double the Loss, opens at Logan's house during Bree's after-funeral gathering. Jake, Lexi, and Devin get a chance to slip away to share condolences and decide what their next move will be. Jake is ready to keep going with the mission, but Lexi thinks that they should lay low for a while and defend what's left of their families. Devin, however, has been shaken so hard by Kim's death that he decides to just straight up tap out on the mission. Any further conversation of this is interrupted as Junior comes up to our 3 and makes an entire scene with Jake by calling him, among other things, a curse that kills everyone around him before he socks Jake as hard as he can right in the face. Further assault by Junior is called off by Logan, and just in time for someone else to arrive at the house and make a scene of their own. Miss Tiffany shows up, with cleavage fully equipped, and gives her condolences to Logan before she kisses him full on the lips, like they've been getting down on the low like that, before she sashays back to her car and leaves. From here, we see a whole bunch of decisions get made that will shape our next episode. Andy just up and decides to strand Kyle at the gas station and do the Hackensack mission solo. Devin initially ends the relationship with Jake and considers running away. But revenge is a powerful motivator, and it reignites his fire to find and stop what is now his mother's killer. It sends him on a solo mission to Chucky's childhood home, where he breaks and enters through a window and comes across Nika, who's still bound to the chair. But after untying her, Devin quickly finds out that he was duped, because Nika is not the one who's in control of the body. Chucky is. And Chucky likes to knock people out and bind them to chairs and gag them. Jake decides to run away and is actually at the bus station going through with it when he spots a delivery guy on the way to deliver a good guy doll. After paying the delivery guy off and taking the doll for himself, Jake finds that it's just an ordinary doll, but that it was en route to be delivered to Chucky's childhood house. Upon hooking up with Lexi to start getting the band back together, they both discover that Devin is already at the place that they intend to go to. Junior gets the biggest surprise when, while home alone, he finds Chucky sitting in his room on his desk, giving us the audience that come hither look. We don't even get to see how Junior reacts to finding out that Chucky is alive. It's just straight down to business. And Chucky gets business done even faster than he did with Jake. By the end of the scene, we see the emergence of EJ, Evil Junior. And EJ ain't a thing like Jakey. EJ is a killer. He starts by using Chucky to freak Logan out, with Chucky taunting Logan in both his good guy doll voice and his real one about Logan's faux infidelity and true drinking habit. Logan thinks that it's really Junior speaking through Chucky via ventriloquism, and he says some pretty harsh things to Junior, including saying that Bree killed herself because she was a quitter, and that Junior is a quitter, just like her. And once those words come out of Logan's mouth, EJ, I kid you not, beats Logan to death with Chucky. Chucky talking about as the beating is going on. And that's how our episode comes to a close, with a dead Logan and EJ and Chucky looking out of the window as Andy arrives at the house. In episode 8, An Affair to Dismember, our season finale, our rumbling boil turns into a raging firestorm. We find out why Chucky has been so adamant about grooming a new young killer. That's part of what fuels the spell that allows him to create his armies. He needs to corrupt an innocent and make them kill. So when EJ killed Logan, he allowed 72 more clones to come to life. They're all sequestered in the basement at Chucky's childhood home with a captured and terrified Devin. Chucky plans to send his clones out into the world, where the goal is to corrupt more innocents so that the army can grow to catastrophic size. We also find out that Tiffany is important to the spell too. How she's important, we're never told. But it's important enough that Doll Chucky stops his Nika Chucky self from killing her. But Doll Chucky can't stop Tiffany from beheading him when he tries to get her, then EJ, to kill Nika, because Nika has become a liability with the random switching of who's in control. Tiffany proceeds with the rest of the plan and leaves decapitated Chucky and Devin at Chucky's childhood house with a bomb set to go off if anyone comes in through the front door. Decapitated Chucky is still able to command his body.
Kill the twink.
But Andy arrives just in time and beats the body into oblivion with a bat. After freeing Devin and learning of the bomb and Chucky's plot, Andy sends Devin on his way and interrogates Chucky on the whereabouts of his army. But before he can get any info, Kyle, who has made her own way to Hackensack, arrives at the house on a hot tip from Jake and Lexi. Unaware of the bomb, she opens the front door and sets it off. The next day, in the aftermath, we find out that the blast took Kyle. But Devin was able to escape, and Andy's fate is uncertain. Devin and Jake reunite at Devin's house, and Jake learns that Junior has gone bad. The two compare notes and figure that Chucky will be hitting the charity matinee of Frankenstein, which will be happening later in the day. When matinee time comes, Lexi is lured away by EJ and Chucky, while Michelle and special guest Jennifer Tilly are speaking to the press. Yeah. Back in Seat of Chucky, Tiffany actually went out and found Jennifer Tilly, killed her, then possessed her body. So Tiffany has all of Jennifer Tilly's star power, money, and connections. Lexi finds herself in a battle for EJ's soul with Chucky, as EJ and Chucky try to get her to join up with them. But Lexi has realized the error of her past ways, and reminds EJ of the kind, loyal, sweet, and caring boy that he truly is, and that if he falls, she will indeed catch him. That's enough to bring Junior back to the surface. And instead of killing Lexi for her refusal to join up, he kills Chucky instead. But not before Chucky can deliver a killing blow of his own, which takes our Junior out of the game permanently. While this struggle is going on backstage, another Chucky, who was given to Caroline as a gift from Tiffany, springs into action and literally begins killing moviegoers by stabbing them in the cornhole. Now, I didn't know a single stab there could cause instant death, but clearly it does. And the first one to get cornholed is Nathan. Jake and Devin arrive while the chaos is already in full swing, and most of the moviegoers have fled the auditorium. As Devin gets Caroline, the only moviegoer left alive, to safety, Jake takes on Chucky. And though Chucky is able to get in a good slash on Jake's leg and move in for the kill,
You're thinking, how could a little doll possibly be so strong?
Doesn't make any sense!
he finds out that he's no match for his former protege, as Jakey comes back to give one last appearance. With his bare hands, he squeezes Chucky's throat so hard that the pressure causes his eyes to pop out of his head and kill him. With one down and 71 more to go, Jake hooks back up with Devin and Lexi to stop the truck full of Chucky clones from reaching the airport and heading to their destinations. But they get an unexpected helping hand when Andy shows up and jacks the truck right in front of Tiffany and takes off with it, planning to destroy all of the bodies inside. But Andy's saving throw is blocked by another saving throw, as we find out that the shipment has a guardian. Tiffany in doll form takes Andy hostage at gunpoint and orders him to proceed to the airport with the shipment as planned. And it's on this horrible note that episode 8 in season 1 of Chucky comes to a close. Season 1 of Chucky was very good in my opinion. It could have very easily been the 8 Child's Play movie. It continues the plot lines established in Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, and actually brings Cult of Chucky into sharper perspective once you realize just how Chucky built the army that he sent after Nika. The character development was handled well. I like the story arcs. The only thing that I feel could have been tightened up was Junior's transition into EJ. We get to see him in the background observing all of the things that will lead to that transition, But we never get to see his perspective on those things. We never get to see what's going through his mind or how he feels when it comes to Lexi, Devin, and Jake crewing up all of a sudden and leaving him as odd man out. We already know that he didn't believe Lexi when she told him the truth about the crewing up, but where did his mind go after that? Especially in thinking that he was being lied to. We needed to see him struggle with that decision to leave Lexi. Or if he'd already turned cold by that point, then we needed to see him get there. Like if we would have been shown this, then we could have seen how Junior would have been very vulnerable to Chucky's persuasion. And I feel like that would have allowed for his transition to be more absolute. And what I mean is that it would have made things a lot more tenser to see him have no hesitation when he thought that he might have to kill Devin. And it would have made Lexi's battle for his soul much more impactful, because at that point he just would have been cold to all of them. So I feel like that was it. Other than that, development was solid. The actors did a superb job in bringing their characters to life. And I'm so glad that the original actors were able to return and reprise their parts. I hope that this means that the door is open for other OG survivors to show up further down the line, and that they're going to be able to get the original people to come back and play them. I rate season 1 of Chucky 3 out of 4 stars. It hits all the right notes that viewers have come to expect from the Child's Play series. It's easy to get into and understand for viewers who have never watched a single movie, and it strikes the best balance of dark and comedy that the franchise has seen yet. I can't wait to see what season 2 is all about, because I do wonder where they plan to take things from here. So, until then, I am Paper Zombie, and I'll catch you next time.